What's up, guys? It's Gary Vaynerchuk. D-Rock and I have been jamming. This is mainly my idea, so D-Rock, stay calm. I want to start making some videos where I talk over content that is over-indexing in a lot of people's point of view. We put out a lot of content. This is a Techweek talk. I don't even actually know what I'm about to watch, though now I'm remembering, so I don't want to bullshit you. I recall, so it'll be interesting. But expanding on pieces of content. What do we want to call? We need to come up. You know what? Leave a comment for I want to create a name for this series. Expanded, extra minute, off the cuff, beyond the 13th hour. Ooh, 13th hour. You know, 25th hour, probably is a little bit better. Anyway, I want to create a series where I sit down, I watch video and talk to you about what's running through my thoughts or expand on something, just to create more content, more context around the content that already over-indexed. Feels like this is a very good 5 to 6 minute video series that I think could actually get some serious legs. Yep. It's the first time you're hearing about it, right?
We've just
heard of it. Cool, right?
Yeah,
you like
cool.
it?
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's good, yeah, all right. So here we go. This was from Techweek. Ooh, this could be cool. It was an early morning. I had a rush. I was running late. And then they ran late. I was pissed. I was like, every minute counts. What else happened? Felt really good. Brian is an amazing host of on CNN. First time I really got to engage with him. Really thought he did a good job in the interview. Good listener, which I think is the key. And it felt really good. It felt like a good vibe. Small room, nothing too crazy. Big name, Techweek. And so let's see it. I hit play and now it opened up a thing. Here we go.
So I'm a day one middle-aged guy like you.
Oh, yes.
And I deal with the young ones.
Yes.
And I love your commentary on it. And I'm finding that
he loves my commentary on it because I'm dissing the younglings along the way for, you know, we can diss and propel at all points. I absolutely believe that people in their 20 to 25-year-old range have a lot of audacity around being compensated. I think they're massively skilled. I think millennials are grossly underestimated, especially 20 to 25. I dominated at 20 to 25 and built a huge business. So I have a lot of empathy for it. AJ was a dominant force at 20 to 25, so I believe in it tremendously. I do think that a lot of people get clouded by all the 8th place trophies and think they're better than they are because they've never played in the market. They played in school and under their parents' watch. And it's a very different game. So he's dissing along the way, so he likes it. But on the flip side, he was only hearing one part of what I was saying about that demo, which is why this got a little interesting.
Saying to them, you're not very skilled, so the brain power's a little short, and you don't work very hard.
Yeah, he's saying they're not skilled or don't work hard. I do think that there is a little bit left to be desired on the work ethic, on the hours, but honestly, I'm actually envious. I think this generation is spending their money on better things. The reason they're working a little bit less is they are working out for an hour longer. They are balancing their interests. Their jobs aren't their whole worlds. They're not like throwing their whole world into GE, right? They are rounding themselves out. India does art on the side. Like, everybody's doing their thing. Like, I love that. I actually think it's a very smart strategy, and I think most 40 to 50, 60-year-olds are envious of the ability to build multiple tunnels. Back to that 80-20 that I did on episode 156 of the Ask Gary Vee show. You know, I think that's a very important part. So I think the reason they're not putting as many hours is they can't buy into the corporations because the corporations aren't there for them. They're smarter, they understand, they have options, they have the internet as a platform. They don't need to grow up the ranks of a corporation. So I think they're being more strategic. Plus, instead of buying 42-inch screen TVs or a fancy new car like this guy probably did, if we're generalizing, you want to generalize them, I'll generalize you. So instead, when you were 26, you wanted a fat whip, right? Instead, they're going to Coachella or to Berlin for the week, or like, you know, they're experiencing, which I think is way more valuable. I think the products are commoditized.
Show up. They don't like it when I tell them that.
They don't like it because they don't believe you.
When I'm working with them, and some of them have a chance, what's your perspective on dealing with the younglings as a day one guy? How do you get them to do stuff without telling them that they're stupid and lazy? I actually think of it in reverse. I mean, most of my 22 and 23-year-olds would look in your face and think that you're finished. And like, fuck you. Yeah, like, trying to make money for it. Yeah. They don't care. I'll make money fall out of the sky. They tell me.
This is where it got interesting for me. So I'm saying that to him, and now he's saying, I'm gonna make money for them, might make money fall outside. Now I'm starting to sense a different thing in this question. I'm like, okay, what is he really talking about? Because if you're so good at making money and make it fall out of the sky, why are you giving it to 22-year-old? Give it to lazy ass Johnny? Give it to yourself.
Tell me it's irrelevant.
But the question, it's not that it's not about cool or what have you. What you define as money might be different than the way they define as money. Like, okay, cool, how much money are you gonna make for your 20? So at this point, I have no idea what he's talking about with money. So I'm thinking about $100,000 or $50,000. I don't really even know what he's talking about at this point. This is where it got interesting. 3-year-old. Give me a number.
I'll probably do about $40 million for him this year.
No, not $40 million. Now I'm confused completely because at first he said he was going to make money for them. Now I'm thinking maybe he owns his own company and the company will make $40 million in revenue. So I'm trying to go down the path of like, cool, if your company makes $40,000 in revenue, you're not giving 22-year-old Johnny anything. My whole point was, what are you actually giving somebody? You might be giving him $50,000, so how do you expect them to work 90 hours? And did you create meritocracy like I have at Vayner where people know they can move up just because they're good enough, not because they have to check all the boxes along the way? So that's where I was digging here, but it took a different turn. And Rick doesn't get $40 million. How much does Rick, the 23-year-old, get? And give me the truth, because the number isn't high.
Yeah. Owner of the company, I mean, I don't know if he'll probably get $2-3 million compensation this year.
Now I'm very confused. Explain. Let's go further. I want to know how a 23-year-old gets $2 to $3.
I got a company founder.
Okay.
I am an old school web strategy guy. I know what works.
Yes.
Send the email, do the this, put in the time every day. Don't want to do that. Highly resistive, and it's a communication problem for me.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why don't you just do it for yourself? Yeah, that's the real question, right? Like, cool, if you know what the fuck you're talking about, do it for yourself. I do. I work harder and I'm smarter than all my 22-year-olds. I'm better at social media than everybody at Vaynermedia. I'm looking at them right now, just to remind them. I was looking at them and saying, so honestly, I think you're rolling with like trying to razz them. Razz yourself. Like, why are you trying to funnel through a 23-year-old?
That's a badass answer.
Thank you. And so I think, you know, what's interesting there was, and this is where we can expand on this, is way too many people are looking for excuses and saying like, I can help you. Help yourself. If you're so good at making money, make it for yourself. And more importantly, everybody's using the excuse right now on this millennial generation. People are picking on the 20 to 30-year-old at scale. It's very convenient. I think it's a high level of jealousy. I don't think, I didn't grow up in it. I think a lot of my 40 and 50-year-old friends didn't grow up in it. It's never been a better time to be 20 to 30 years old. The world is absolutely your oyster. The internet is incredible. Surround yourself. The only reason I think that people should work here is because that I'm that special. I'm not kidding. As egotistical as that sounds, I think I could be a gateway drug that creates a lot of opportunity for them. But if you were not lucky enough to work in an organization and or an individual that creates a huge leapfrog for you, for what you want to do, then there's so many amazing options. Or what I think so many millennials are doing proper, which is they're putting in their 8 hours and they're doing it the best they can and as hard as they can, and they're spending other hours doing other things to create some opportunity. That's the right model in this world right now when things are good. I talk about being a wartime general versus a peacetime general. I do believe there'll be an economic meltdown like there always is in any cycle between tomorrow morning and the next 10 years. And when that happens, it was smart that those millennials went to Berlin and did all those things, because that's when you get to experience it, because your life's gonna get real practical. If you're an average 27-year-old right now and shit hits the fan in 6 years, you're gonna have to get more practical, double down on that job. Now you're maybe married, you might have a kid on the way. Not so easy to go to fucking Coachella for the weekend anymore. So I think they're playing it very right intuitively. Don't forget, a lot of these people are kids of a generation where they don't remember fully the last meltdown. They were 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's been all good times. They've grown up with the imagery of Zucks and all these startup founders. Everything feels possible, and I think that's amazing. Do they work hard for a company that doesn't care back for them? Well, that makes sense to me. The reason I get mad if somebody doesn't work hard here is they haven't sniffed out that I'll give back to them, that it'll give back to them. And so you have to run an organization like that. It's a very special time. We need to stop dissing on the millennials, and we need to start looking ourselves in the mirror. The screen went black here, so I can look. Look yourself in the mirror and say, forget about worrying about how great they have it, or they don't work hard, or they don't care, or they're aloof, or they can't talk to each other because they're on their phone all day. Start looking at yourself and start realizing you're gonna live a much longer life than you think. What are you gonna do for the next 20 years? I do. I work harder and I'm smarter than all my 22-year-olds. I'm better at social media than everybody at Vaynermedia. I'm looking at them right now, just to remind them. Like, so